Hello and welcome to your whirlwind tour of our syllabus for 11th grade core American literature. I am your host, Miss Ritter, and this is my contact information. The first thing that you'll see here is that this is the contact information I want you to use if you or a parent or guardian needs to speak with me. I will always try to get back to you as soon as I can, but the district policy is that I have 24 hours to do that. So if you email me at 9 p.m. on a Friday, I technically have until 9 p.m. Monday to respond because Saturday and Sunday I'm not expected to be working. So keep that in mind. If you have questions, please ask them when you have them. The next thing we get to here is all the information for Google Classroom and Remind. If you're not in the Remind for your class period, I highly suggest that you join. We have the course description. This literature course concentrates on the refinement of critical reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills to achieve a level of proficiency. So one of the main goals here is for you to get a proficient rating on the Keystone, which you guys did not take as sophomores, so you will be taking this year as far as we know. Course objectives and purpose. This class is all about American literary traditions, and you'll be dealing with all sorts of different text from American literature. So you have drama and short stories, poems and articles and speeches. And the course text that we're using is something that's new for this year. All ELA classes are using something called Springboard, which we'll talk more about when we actually get into our curriculum. But Springboard is broken up into 4 units, and each unit takes about a quarter of the school year. So first quarter would be Unit 1, second quarter Unit 2, and so on. If you're interested to know what these topics are or what might be included, you can read this chart at your leisure. Because of distance learning this year, we have a number of different policies and procedures. So the most important of these that is universal to all classes at RHS are the digital citizenship norms. So you can see them here. The most important one, log into your classes at the correct time. That is number 1. Number 2, stay on task. Try to keep your conversation in the class about class. Number 3, be respectful to both your teacher and your peers, other people in the class. Number 4, reach out for help. I have given you my contact information in a bunch of different locations. Please use it. Number 5, cite sources. Do not post someone else's work. And we'll talk more about that when we deal with the academic integrity policy. Number 6, don't post or share even privately inappropriate material. And number 7, be forgiving. So I'm probably going to mess things up. I welcome for you to tell me when that happens or make suggestions. And I will try to be also forgiving of you guys because I know it's a lot for all of us to figure out. Next, we have expectations for Google Meet. These are pretty basic, but before the meeting, try to find a place that is relatively comfortable to sit in and that you can concentrate on class. You always want to have your device muted by clicking the microphone button in Google Meet, unless you are speaking because the teacher has asked you to. During the meeting, again, be patient, be engaged, engage in the class by unmuting and talking. Cameras are optional. You do not have to have your camera on. If you would like to have it on, you may. The only time you are not to have it on is during any recorded portions of our meeting, but your teacher will let you know when it's time to turn it on or off. Questions or comments for now should go in the chat. Wait for me to call on you. And it does need to be in academic language. And I know it looks like an instant message or, what have you, but we are in school. So please do not use the chat as though you are talking to someone on WhatsApp. So the same school rules and expectations will apply. Please do not do the things you know you shouldn't be doing. And again, always ask for help if you need it. That is what I am here for. So the academic integrity policy is going to be a separate activity for you, but there are serious consequences for breaking the policy, which is what you do when you cheat or when you plagiarize. So we're going to talk more about that later. Class procedures to be aware of. We went over this on the first day of class, but attendance is taken through Google Forms each class period. You will be present if you're completing the form in the first 15 minutes, late if you submit it after the first 15 minutes, and absent if you don't submit it at all. Another thing that's new for this year is that we are doing something called Zinc reading labs instead of SSR. So you're going to be taking a diagnostic test at the beginning of the year, and then you'll have reading assigned to you that you will complete on your Chromebook. Another new feature of this year because of the changed schedule is intervention period, which is a time in the morning from 8 to 8:35 when you can get extra help from your teachers. So we might have other things to do like core team meetings, but there is a day each cycle designated to your class period, and you can get teacher tutoring or do check-ins. More information on that to come. The intervention process is something that the teachers will complete for failing grades, skipping classes, behavioral issues, social emotional issues. And there's basically 3 levels. The first thing I'll do is have a conference with you, which means I will come to you and talk to you about the issue. If that does not make anything better, my second intervention will be to contact your parent or guardian. And if that doesn't work, then we go to level 3, which is where I would fill out a core team, discipline, or SAP referral and give it to the appropriate administrators. Grading is also working a little bit differently this year. For this class, you're going to be receiving 4 different types of grades: alternative assessments, tests, class participation, and homework. You will see the breakdown here because they are weighted, which means that tests and quizzes count for 40% of your grade, alternative assessments 30%, participation in classwork 20%, and homework 10%. Grades will be posted in eSchool 7 to 10 days after the assignment is due. So if it's a test that I can grade quickly, it will be up on the shorter end of that. If it's a paper and I have to read 200 of them, it might take me the full 10 days. You'll get a participation grade once a week, and the grades will be updated once a week. This year, the school has decided on a school-wide policy for late or missed work. So any late work will be accepted for 1/2 credit for 1 week after it's due. If that late work is an alternative assessment, it's going to be a 10% penalty per day if the assignment is turned in, up to a week before the end of each quarter. So if you have a paper and you turn it in 2 days late, that would be a 20% penalty off whatever you would have gotten. Missed work is your responsibility. We went over the rolling agenda that's in Classroom. That is how you will find what we did on the day that you were not here. You need to look at those assignments and review the directions. If you don't understand them, then you ask me for help. As of this year, all missing scores, anything you don't turn in, will be entered in eSchool as a 0, which means that you will see your actual current average, including zeros for all missing work. So just to reiterate, zeros for work missed during an excused absence. You can make up for full credit for a week after they were due. If you got a 0 for work that is late because you didn't turn it in on the due date, you can make it up for a 1/2 credit for a week. And if you skip class, you cannot make up that work. That 0 remains a 0. Those are the main points of our syllabus, and if you have any questions, please let me know.